We're making the transition to hoops here on the Bruin Insider Show and could not think of a better guest to help mark the occasion. Nick Hill, pleased to sit down with the head coach of your number 4 ranked UCLA women's basketball team, Cory Close. Coach, great to see you. How are you?
Great to see you, too. I'm doing amazing. Just thankful to, be excited about our new direction in football and all those things, but also really excited about where we are with men's and women's basketball and what's ahead for us.
If I did the math right, year 15 for you here,
yep,
correct?
You got it. Year 15. Can you believe it? Craziness. Mm-hmm.
So what is something that year 1 Coach Cory Close would be proud of to learn about year 15 Coach Cory Close?
I think the way that which we have adjusted to the changing landscape. I think we have done a great job of staying really strong in our non-negotiable principles, but also being willing to pivot with the obvious. We've never had, I don't think, more change and shifts in the college sports, let alone college basketball landscape, and really proud of the way our staff has navigated that.
All right, so at this point in the season, month and a half in, have some big wins, one loss where you guys really rallied strong at the end of it. What have you liked out of the team so far, and how are you looking to see them continue to grow?
Well, I really like that, sort of the way we're sharing the ball on the offensive end. We're one of the top in the country. We're actually the number 1 most efficient offense in the country right now. We're sharing the basketball. We're shooting the ball well, which spaces the floor for somebody like Lauren Betts, who I don't even think has hit her stride quite yet, but I like what we're doing offensively. I think we have, room to grow, but I like what we're doing. Quite frankly, on the other end, we're number 1 on the offensive end, but we're 14th on the defensive end. We got to defensively rebound better. I think we need to be more physical, going into really initiating contact. I think that got exposed in the Texas game, and I think we have to turn people over a little bit more. We're getting good. We have great length, and so we're not going to be quick underneath you, trapping all the time, but we have a way to get a lot of deflections, to disrupt vision, and we got to get a few more steals out of some of those, and so that's sort of where we need to go growth-wise.
I like the analogy you used after the Oregon game. You said this is an art project, not a scientific formula, just in regards to the season as a whole. I'm sure it'd be easier if it were a scientific
really
formula, though.
It was so interesting. I was actually on Coach Gino Auriemma's podcast yesterday, and we were both talking about how the personality and chemistry of each team really is different. And how do you have enough emotional IQ, just a relational savvy to adjust to that particular team without changing the standard? The standard is the standard. If you want to be a championship level program, there aren't a lot of choices. There is an illusion of choice. So I can do it this way or that way. Not really. If you want to play at the highest levels, there really is an illusion of choice. And at the same time, how do you draw on, just that this is about genuine relationships with real people that are 18 to 23 years old, and I think that does factor in. I don't think you can be cookie cutter about this. I think you have to have great communication. You have to build trust. They have to have ownership of how the culture needs to be executed, and it is every year is different. That's probably why I've been doing it 33 years. Is that it keeps me growing and keeps me changing and keeps me young, but it isn't easy.
I imagine it has to help having such an experienced roster, though, like you do this year. And then you throw in Gianna Neepkins coming over, a graduate student, and then having Chariss able to see the floor, another graduate student as well, to add to a core that you've been building over the years.
Well, not only is this the most talented team I've had, but it's the most experienced at high levels, that I've ever had. And so I think, I had point guard film today, which we have actually added in Gianna to that mix just so we can talk through philosophy. And, I think it's so important that I don't do all the talking, that I just really ask a lot of questions. Like, how are you experiencing this? This is how I've been approaching it with our team. What are your thoughts? How are you receiving it? And I think if you have a team that has great work ethic, that you really trust their hearts and their loyalty to the mission of the program, then it's really important to get their input. And that's the luxury I have of having a great senior class who are high character and who I really trust. And that has been an absolute joy.
A lot of players that we can touch on within that. Let's start with Lauren Betts, because she was just out in Durham at training camp for USA Basketball, and you yourself having coached at the national team level. What do you hope that she gained out of that experience over the weekend, playing with a bunch of professionals?
She came back different. I mean, and it's interesting because she wasn't feeling great going into it. Here I am, the youngest. I'm the only college player that's actually going to participate in the camp, all these things. And and I said, Lauren, you've been this way your whole life. You know, you were the youngest on our U19 World Cup team, and you started every game and were tremendously impactful. And, you know, I think she got to spend time with, like, one of her childhood, you know, mentors and idols in Aaliyah Boston. And what was that like? And what were you like? What were you feeling your senior year? And Aaliyah was so generous with her time and her energy. In fact, I had planned to give her Sunday off when she was coming back. She had a final she had to finish on Monday. And I said, hey, you take Sunday off, join us on Monday, and then you'll be ready for the game Tuesday. And she goes, no, I want to practice on Sunday. I want to put into practice some of the things that I learned from that training camp time. And I just think it buoyed her. I think she got affirmed. I think she did really well. I heard from 6 different, Coach JC went with her, but I heard from 6 different WNBA coaches and programs about how well Lauren Betts did. And I just think, you know, you can't give somebody confidence. And honestly, she was struggling before she went out there. And but she earned a lot of confidence back and came back different.
That's great to hear. And been excited to watch Gabriella Hakez. Feels like it's shaping up to be a career year for her.
Yeah.
Her numbers offensively, but defensively, you're having her defend 1 through 4.
Yep.
How have you seen her find another gear here in her senior year?
Well, I think, you know, it's sometimes coaches get way too much credit, and they probably get too much criticism sometimes too. Everything that Gabs is doing, she has earned. I would say Coach Tasha, even as she works out behind us right now, Coach Tasha has been incredible in how she's invested in her game. And but bottom line is Gabriella Hakez has put in the work. She has added to the toolbox of her game every single year. And what she's shooting from the three-point line, she's just a reflection of the time put in. And so excited for her. I'm really challenging, just to be really blunt. I think her offense is off the charts good. Like, her passing to the post has been amazing. Her finishes around the rim have been spectacular. Her three-point shooting has been really, really good. I'm really challenging all of our seniors. I think they have another level of them in them defensively. I really believe that they are settling for comfort too high of a percentage of the time. And so that's my real focus right now is I want a physicality initiation. I want a discipline defensively. I want a joy in having us dominate from the defensive end on a more consistent basis. And honestly, I look to Gabs to really provide that. She is a warrior, and I need her to lead that charge, and I need all the rest of the seniors to follow.
You talk about her putting in the work, something about the Hakez family, it seems like, right?
Well, I really am so supported. I feel so supported by the Hakez family. I got the greatest text from her mom the other day, and, you know, we're so lucky at UCLA that not only have we had, it's going to be 8 great years of Hakez basketball in Pauley Pavilion, but you have a family who understands the meaning of wearing those 4 letters across your chest, the power of the brand. They've actually helped us in recruiting several times about just like the best NIL deal you are ever going to sign is a degree from UCLA and access to the UCLA Alumni Network. And so the Hakez family has given us more than what we see on the court, and I could not be any more grateful.
Chariss Leger-Walker, been giving you a little bit of everything on the court. Good to see her finally healthy. And I like that Oregon game because she has a double-double while scoring, or nearly a double-double while scoring 2 points. 10 rebounds, 8 assists, indicative of what she brings to the court.
Well, she's a stat sheet stuffer. And it's really fun tonight's game against, Cal Poly. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but when her mom's coming, and her mom is her hero. Her mom is the one who's really taught her the game of basketball, and so just really want to honor her because I feel like Chariss is doing just such an incredible job using her mind, using her selflessness, adding to her skill set every single year. What's going really unseen, I think, is she has become our best on-ball defender. The way she's sliding her feet, I was teasing her the other day. You're playing better defense than I ever saw at Washington State. Now, she did a lot of amazing things on the offensive end, don't get me wrong, but she is, her defense has been absolutely spectacular. But I just think she's been sort of the glue. If you ask anybody who has the biggest pulse of the team and who in tough moments are they going to look to for their poise, for the next right step, almost everyone's going to say Chariss Leger-Walker.
That's interesting because she hasn't been here as long as a lot of players on this team, and granted was around last year while not playing, but I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I think, there's something about, emotional IQ and somebody who's sacrificially invested in their teammates off the court on a consistent basis. So she's not the only one, but she has done it at an elite level. And I just think she has earned so much trust. And, you know, I love the dynamic between Charlize Ledger-Walker and Kiki Rice, both elite guards, and they play the game really differently, and they complement each other. And isn't that what this great game is all about, is being better together in the way the puzzle pieces fit than we could ever be individually on our own. And that's what we're really seeking to do, but Charlize Ledger-Walker really leads the way in that.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you about next. Having her in the backcourt alongside Kiki, how that has impacted Kiki positively on the court.
Well, I think, you know, Kiki is such an explosive scorer, and she, you know, she really has done such a great job herself adding to her game and how she's shooting the ball. And I think she's really elevated her game on the defensive end, especially her defensive on-ball pressure that she's able to put forth. But, you know, I think that she, you know, she needed to think less. Kiki needed to be freed up a little bit. She's always going to have to think the game at her position. That's going to be part of her responsibility. But maybe we could have changed the proportions just a little bit by adding Charlize Ledger-Walker with her. And I think it's just freed her up to be more of a hunter and more of an attack mentality. And I think that's when Kiki's at her best.
I'm excited to see that tandem continue as the season progresses. So we talk about all the experience you got this year. You've got a freshman that's starting to find her way a little bit in Lena Bilic. And what have you seen out of her so far?
Lena is just, I think she's just scratching the surface. When she gets aggressive, her skill set, her ability to really attack off the dribble, but also off the catch and shoot. She's 6'3". She's got long as a guard. I think when she can really find the way that she can use that length to impact defense and rebounding as well, I think the sky's the limit. She will be a major pillar, building pillar for us in the coming years. And I think Lena's really an exciting freshman to watch.
I'm excited to see her continue. Sienna Betts, another freshman, going to get back out here soon as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to get to see some Sienna the next game or two. And, you know, Sienna is, man, she's so dominant in so many different ways. And we just got a lot to look forward to. So it's going to be good.
So with the holidays coming up, we won't have another chance to talk to you, but I do need to get your thoughts. I'll throw the caveat out here that you've got games between now and January 3rd against USC, but do want to give you the opportunity because this has been so fun the last few years. 4 consecutive sellouts here at Pauley, across town at Galen Center. I mean, this has become the premier rivalry in women's college basketball.
Well, I would even argue in college basketball, period, in California, right? And we have really set the stage. It's the who's who that's here. If you have not gotten your tickets, I expect it to be completely sold out before Christmas, before the holidays. And so I would encourage anyone who wants to be a part. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be such a great spirited rivalry, but you won't want to wait until like, oh, let me get my tickets right after, you know, the Christmas season. You're going to miss out. And so we obviously do have great opponents in between there. We've got 4 great games before that point, but if people wait, they will miss the opportunity to be a part of that game, and it's going to be a great one.
Don't miss out, folks. Coach, great to catch up with you. Thanks so much for your time and continued success this year.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Get your tickets, UCLABruins.com/tickets, and listen to the Bruin Insider Show every Thursday, 7 o'clock on 790 KABC.